Welcome to Kidmissing TV. I'm your host, Angelina Wilson. This is the first Doe Friday of February. This is the Cheerleader in the Trunk. She was discovered on August 24th, 1982 in Frederick County, Maryland. She was between the ages of 17 and 27. They believe on the younger end of the scale. She had been dead from months to 10 years. She was murdered. She was found on a gravel road in Gambrills State Park in the Catoctin Mountains. I apologize if I screwed that up. The footlocker was in plain view, but had sticks and leaves placed over the trunk in a poor attempt to disguise it. So she was dead anywhere from 1972 to the spring of 1980. A forensic anthropologist observed that skeletal features in her lower back and feet may have been related to a previous injury or injuries. She had extensive dental work, several fillings, root canals, crowns. No clothing or jewelry was found with the remains, but a dark-colored towel was found nearby. She was giving an age range that previously extended to 45 years, but in 2020, the National Center narrowed it to 27, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They also released another reconstruction. She had signs of wear in her bones, especially the hips, indicating she may have been active in gymnastics, cheerleading, or other sports. Decomposition prevented analysis of eye color and skin tone. Her earlobes may have stuck out in quote-unquote unnatural way. As seen in the sketches, she had spondylolysis, a defect or stress fracture in the lumbar vertebrae that could have been asymptomatic. The lumbar spine is the very bottom of the spine. She had dark brown hair of medium length, described as being slightly wavy. Her natural hair color may have been a reddish brown, as her pubic hair was recovered. Due to the theory that she was an athlete, she may have often worn her hair in a ponytail. Okay. The exclusions are Helen Allison, Kitty Anderson, Maureen Baca, Marie Blee, I think we've talked about her, Sue Capel, Barbara Louise Cotton, we have talked about her, Andy Cole, that's A-N-D-I, Valerie Cuccia, or Cuccia, I think it's Cuccia, Kathy Durst, Sherry Everly, Sherry Eyerly, Rachel Garden, we have talked about her, Zita Gutierrez, Gina Hall, Ann Manchester, Barbara McClure, Judy O'Donnell, we have talked about her, Michelle Reidenbach, we have talked about her, Betty Roberts, Jean Scrima, Eddie Segal, Nancy Snow, Emma Vaughn. Oh, excuse me. I'm back. Sorry guys, I had to take that call. Okay. A couple of mushroom hunters were actually the ones that found her. She was between 5'2" and 5'6". There have been composites released of her, 1983. Actually, a couple in 1983. 2020. All over the place. They lowered her time of death between 1979 and 1982 instead of all the way back to 1972. Okay, and there was a composite in 2012. As of that time, they could not get DNA. Carl Kopelman did a composite in 2013, along with another amateur composite in 2013. It was done. Yeah, she wasn't in her 30s or 40s. She was 17 to 27, and they believe on the younger side of that. The last composite was done in 2020. And they believe she was a sportswoman. Some people thought she might have been an equestrian, but that wouldn't explain the wear and tear on her feet. We're talking gymnastics, competitive cheerleading, jumping on her feet, could be volleyball, ballet. They thought she possibly wore high heels a lot. And the Achilles tendon of an equestrian is longer than average because they put their heels back in the stirrups. She had extensive dental work, and being a sportswoman, she had to be wealthy because it's not cheap. Or there's a theory she could have worked in manual labor, well, construction, factory work, or any other type of hard labor. That would be, I'll get there at the end, but I have an issue with that. They also believe her dental work was done at a dental school, which means that her dental work would have been free or much less expensive. Some say she might have been an exotic dancer, and that's why she wore heels all the time, and it would have been wear and tear on her feet and legs. Or she could have been a competitive dancer, but she was definitely active. Let's see. There are rule outs which I think I already read you a list of rule outs. Did I not? Or was that in the other case? Yeah, I already read you a list of rule outs. Okay, one person who has been submitted was 22 when she went missing. Her name was Virginia Alice Welch. She went missing in July of 82. Well, they believe this girl was dead by the spring of 82, so. She was discharged from the Army for medical reasons. She was in Roanoke, which is not far. Who was 5'7", which is too tall, and had tattoos, which we don't know whether this girl did or not. But I don't think this is a good match. Lynn Burdick went missing from Florida, Massachusetts. That's in the western portion of the state. In April of 1982, when she was 18. She disappeared from the store she worked at as a clerk. She was talking to her cousin over the phone and hung up to serve a customer. Oh no, she was talking to her cousin when she served a customer. Later that day, the store was found abandoned and Burdick's possessions were left behind. Cash register had been emptied, and it is suspected she was abducted by the perpetrator. She is classified as endangered missing and is believed to be kidnapped and murdered. She was 5'4", 115 pounds. I don't know if they don't know if her dental charts have been compared. I don't think somebody that abducted somebody from the store would go to all that trouble to, I hope I haven't had this in front of you all this time, take her all the way to Maryland, put her in a trunk. You know what I mean? She's somewhere in western Massachusetts. There's plenty of woods there. There's the Berkshire Mountains. There's plenty of reason why she hasn't been found. And I don't think it's because she's this girl. Then there's Ann Riggin, who was 5'3", weighed 105 pounds, had previously broken a collarbone, which we do not have in Jane Doe's case. And Judith Chartier, we know she's not a match. They found her. Drove into the water by mistake. Then we have Monica Remick. Again, we don't know whether these, Marcia Remick, good grief, my brain needs to wake up. What was I going to say? Oh. That any of these dentals have been compared yet. Mary Spencer went missing from Prince Frederick, Maryland in March of 81. She was 26 years old. She's on the older end. She was on a shopping trip and her Mercedes was found in a restaurant parking lot. Foul play is suspected. Well, why the heck, if you're going to abduct her, why wouldn't you take her Mercedes? Just saying. Mary was 5'6", so she was a little 140 pounds. She was a little bigger than our Jane Doe. Okay, need to find a phone number here. Pretty sure I have one. I guess not. I'm sorry, guys. I do not have a phone number for this case, but you can call NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, at 1-800-THE-LOST. If you have any information in this case. You can also call the Frederick, Maryland Police Department, and probably the county sheriff's office in the area, which I don't know what the county is. So sorry about that. But yeah, call 1-800-THE-LOST, NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, because they are hard at work on this case. Now, my opinion real quick. I don't think, well, I think a couple of these submitted ones can be ruled out. I don't think she's a 26-year-old. And I think it's too old. A couple of them are way too tall. Judith Chartier, we now know, has been found. Her car and her remains have been found. The one that was abducted in Florida, Massachusetts from the convenience store, highly unlikely, because I think she was put in the woods somewhere in Western Mass or in the Berkshire Mountains. I don't know how far Florida is from the actual Berkshires. But it's out in that part of the state. I don't think anybody is going to take the risk of taking her or her body all the way to Maryland when you literally have to drive half to 3/4 of the way across Massachusetts and about 4 or 5 states south. You know, when you have all that wooded area and mountains right there at your disposal to dispose of your victim. That's just my opinion. So, take that for what you will. It seems a lot easier to just get rid of her right there. So, let me know what you think of the possibles of the rule outs. They need to use Orthram or one of the other forensic genealogy sites to try to get DNA from her. Because I do not see why they can't do it. You know, grab a tooth, grab a femur, and do what you can. Maybe have a new forensic anthropologist take a look at her and give some more opinions. We need an exhumation here, is what I'm saying. So, like I said, I'd love to hear your opinions. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Please hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications. We're trying to get to 500 by Memorial Day and 200 on the other channel by St. Patty's Day. And please check out my other channel, Punky's World. Link, as always, is in the description, as are the social medias for this channel and that channel. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.